What's up, guys? Doing another video on the S4. Today I'll be doing the hard wiring of the harnesses, pigtails for the coil packs. I currently have an 034 Motorsports kit, I guess you can say. I got it off secondhand by some guy. I was getting rid of his S4. He blew it up, so I just went ahead and connected them. As you can see, the harnesses are pretty jacked up, or at least they look that way. They're not in that bad of a condition, but I keep getting random misfires throughout the cylinders. It doesn't specify which one, other than cylinder 4 comes up a lot. It's very specific on cylinder 4, which is this cylinder here. On the driver's side, it's the front one on the driver's side, the first one looking at the car on the driver's side. I already did the ICM deletes. On one of my previous videos, I showed how to hardwire that up. It's pretty straightforward. You just follow the harness. Now, this is if you have a harness. I would not know, as far as wiring goes, if you were to just go to the junkyard or buy pigtails, the 4-pin for the 2.0 coil packs, R8 style. I don't know what wires go where. There is another video on YouTube that kind of shows the wiring, the colors and all that stuff, and which one goes where and what they're for. I'm just kind of doing, if you had a harness similar like mine, you literally just follow the wires. So you have the stock S4 harness side here, the 3-pin, and then as you can see, it turns into 4 for the 2.0. Well, it's, like I said, straightforward. On the 034 side for the factory harness, because our harnesses are 3-pin, there's 3 wires, factory. On the 2.0 side, pin 2 here and pin 4 here, you can just wire those together. The video I mentioned previously does show if you want to just wire one of them, so you only have 3 wires, and the other, I don't know if it's pin 2 or pin 4, you can put directly onto the manifold, the bolt on the manifold for the ground. But I'm going to just go ahead and follow the way the harness is. I'm literally just going to follow how this is set up. So pin 2 and pin 4 will go to the middle, just like that. So if you're looking at it on the harness side, that would be this yellow and brown, or brown with yellow stripe wiring here on the harness, the cylinder 4. So if you just plug that up like this, all right, you just follow the wiring. So your red wire with the green stripe would go on the 034 Motorsports harness to this red wire here. The yellow and brown wire in the middle would go to pin 2 and pin 4 on the 2.0 side coil, the 4-pin. The brown and blue wire on the harness would go to this green wire here. And like I said, this is a 034 Motorsports harness, as you can see here. And this is how they have their harnesses wired up. I don't know if these are factory colors, or if these are obviously just pre-made, and this is what they used. So I'm literally just going to follow it as is. So if you plug it up, follow the wiring into the harness, you can just cut here and cut, I don't know, somewhere around here, and you just keep this harness intact so you know which wires go where. And that's basically it. I mean, there's not much else to it. So, I mean, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. There's no, let me get this disconnected right quick. All right, got it disconnected. All right, so another thing is, if you guys are wondering, well, how do I know which way the harness goes? It only goes one way. It won't go the other way. If you look in here, I don't know if you guys can see it, there's a little slot there, and on this side there's like a little tab. I don't know if you guys can see it right in the middle. If you look on that harness there, and then you look on this one, you have a slot there and a tab. I'm sorry, tab is right here on the outside. You see it? A little square there, and then you have a slot on the other side. So it lines up. I mean, you can't mess it up. There's only one way for the harnesses to go on. Like I said, this is 034 Motorsports harness. I don't know what it would be like if you're simply just cutting the harness and wiring up your own from another Volkswagen that runs these coils. So I'm just going based off of what I have. Like I said, there's another video on YouTube that shows if you were to cut off a harness from another Volkswagen or Audi that runs these coil packs, and you were just to splice those directly in. He does show the wiring colors and which ones they go to and all that stuff. I'm just going based off of what I have. So let me get this cut real quick, and I will start putting them together and show you guys how that goes. Alright guys, got it all cut. As you can see here, like I said, I left them plugged in. There's only one way for you to plug them in. They will not fit another way or the opposite way. So there's that right there. One more time, I got the green and red wire on the factory harness going to the red wire. I got the brown and yellow, well, depending on what color yours is. Mine looks orange-ish, brown and orange, but it's brown and yellow. It's just really dirty. And then that's going to pin 2 and 4 on the 034 Motorsports harness that plugs into the 2.0 R8 style coils. As you can see there, pin 4 on the right and pin 2 are both black. Both black. Those will be going to the brown and yellow wire. On the factory harness, we have the blue and brown going to the green. Simple as that. Like I said, leave these plugged in, then cut your wiring, because if you cut your wiring, you might get confused. I don't know. Some people might. I just prefer to leave them plugged in, and then I cut them so I know which wires are going where. And I will not be soldering them just because I already have this stuff. I bought it because I've been wiring a lot of different things in the car. Like I said, the issue I was having was misfires throughout the cylinders. I don't know which one in particular other than cylinder 4 that keeps popping up as a specific one. So I'm starting with cylinder 4. Now I have this heat shrink here. Bought it at, I think it was AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts. Anyways, it was like a spool of it. I have a bunch of it. Like I said, a lot of these pigtails on the S4 and just wiring in general were just corroded. They were showing. They had buildup on them. I kept getting codes for different stuff, O2 sensors, the initial coil packs. The ICMs were a little messed up. There was some wiring over on this side under the coolant tank. I've just rewired a bunch of stuff in here. And currently driving, I do not have a check engine light, but for some reason when I go in, when I start the car or put in the on position, cylinder 4 comes up. I replaced the OBD2, the O2 sensor on this side. The codes went away for basically this entire bank, and the MAF code went away when I replaced that O2 sensor. So there's a lot of weird things going on. I just recently got the Blake Beetle Stage 2. I was running 93 for about a week, and then I just recently switched the E85 tune yesterday. And I have a random misfire under load and at idle for some reason, but just normal driving, it wasn't that big of a deal. So I'm gonna check the gap, like I said in the beginning of the video, for the spark plugs, make sure that they're correct. My dumb self, I just threw them in there the way they were in the box, so I'm learning the hard way right now, but I will do that. And I'm also hardwiring the kit together so that I know for a fact that this is a point of I guess you could say issues if anything arises, because before it was that point, the point where the two harnesses connected. And another thing I like to point out is if you ever have a code that says open circuit or something similar to that sort, always pull back these boots, because they might look like they're in perfect condition. For instance, my injector one, the boots might look like they're in really good shape, and you're like, well, there's no way my wires would be messed up. Well, that's not necessarily true. I don't know how old this harness is from 034 Motorsports, but if you look here, the red one, it got brittle and it broke in several places. I had this issue on a buddy, his B5 A4 AEB. He wasn't running the correct boost. It wasn't boosting right. He replaced the turbo. It was seized at one point, so he replaced it. He did some other things, just trying to, took it to a shop and everything. I checked the code. It said open circuit. I pulled back the N75 boot. Mine's back there somewhere. But anyways, I pulled back the boot, like I said. I pulled back the boot. I checked the wiring, and guess what? One of the wires was not connected to the N75 valve. Therefore, he was going off of wastegate pressure, not what he was supposed to be going. Once I fixed it, car's running right. Shop couldn't figure that out. So just from experience, I'm not saying I know everything. I'm not a shop. I do everything on my own here at my house. Always check the wiring, especially on a 20-year-old vehicle. As you can see, even this black one, it's a harness from 034. You have to focus a little bit. It's brittle. They're broken. The wires are busted. Crazy thing is, they're not really like that on the factory harness. They're on the 034 harness. But anyways, I've come across a lot of issues with the wiring being busted and showing exposed and all that. So I'm just going to use these butt connectors. Like I said, I got this at AutoZone. It was a spool of it, probably like, I don't know, $8 or so. I'm trying to see if there's a size on here, just so I can give you guys that. I don't know. This is what it says. I don't know if you guys can see that. Anyways, it reads 125 Celsius, VW-1, HFT 05.0/2.5. I don't know what that means, but that's what it is. Alright, anyway, so I'm going to be splicing these together. Once I get that done, I will be back to show you guys. Alright, real quick. So I'm using the butt connectors, like I said. What I do is I like to get the butt connector, and I'll get the heat shrink, and I'll kind of measure it so I can give enough space on this side and the other side, and I'll cut accordingly on this side here to make sure that the butt connector and the wires are properly covered by the heat shrink long enough past the connection itself, just to be sure that nothing gets in there. You could use glue. I don't know what glue. I've seen most of the connections on these harnesses here, like the factory harness, that they have a glue or some type of glue kind of where the entry points are, if you were to splice together, or like where some of this harness is connecting, like in here there's like a piece of glue keeping the wires together, and they heat shrink it, and then they fit the boot over it. So if you want to do that, that's fine too. I don't know what glue that is. I could try to find out and put a link in the description. So yeah, let me get this going real quick. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. So unfortunately, I do not have a butt connector that's big enough to fit both those wires. The one I have, they're pretty small. So putting both of them in there will not fit. I probably have to run to the store and get some bigger ones just for the ground wires here, for all the coil packs. But you get the idea. So like I said, you know, just follow the harness. I got those two wired up. I gotta get that third one going, the ground wires and stuff. So I use the factory boot. I kept that one on there just so I can connect it to the pigtail, or to the, you know, the harness and whatnot. But yeah, that's essentially what needs to be done, and you repeat the process for all 6 cylinders. If you got any questions, comments, please leave them down below. Like, subscribe, share. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to put as much content out there for the B5 S4 as possible, just so that there's more than just 1 or 2 videos out there. Maybe, you know, I went into a little bit more depth than somebody else did, or showed you a little bit more, or something. Didn't leave it up to assuming, because I know that I hate doing that when I watch videos. I hate assuming, like, well, where did that come from, or how did he do that, you know, specific part. So as you can see, I did do my N249 and N80 deletes. I did a bunch of other stuff. I'll do a little video on what I did exactly, explaining how I did it. That's the spider hose is gone. So I'll do a video on that next, just so that you guys can have an idea on what I did. I was just kind of pushing through to get this car going for the Stage 2 Flash. So for all those that kind of want to get an idea on what to do. Now, mine may not be the best, but it's a rough idea. So, like I said, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Trying to do as much as I can for this car, to put out there for you guys. That's it. Like I said, just follow the harness. It's really easy. Just follow where the wires go on the harness if you have a kit already. Simple as that. All right, thanks.